Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Cough, cough, cough. Cough, cough. Hey, that's the Ramble there. See what it says? And I'm Alex. And we go until midnight on the East Coast of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, out to Larry Bubbles Brown, who's as tired as I am. I think everybody's tired, Larry, because COVID and being indoors and not being able to, get out there, do things, and stuff like that.
Right, and it looks like it may be getting worse. I don't know.
But you run what, 3 days a week, something like that?
Every other day.
Every other day, yeah.
And I got to tell you, I do it, but at the days I run, I'm exhausted.
How's your hernia doing?
It's getting worse.
This is what
I was supposed to do the surgery a couple of weeks ago, and I chickened out and canceled at the last minute.
Yeah, really? Okay. I mean, I feel it a little bit, and I have the lump there, but it doesn't. I'm not in real pain. Now, you get in real pain, do you?
It's just sometimes it's not real pain, but it's definitely you can feel it. It's kind of annoying, and you get tired of looking at that lump.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. But you probably wouldn't be able to run for a couple of weeks, right?
A couple of months, yeah.
A couple of months, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have it eventually, but
Well,
see, this is what
if you do it, I'll do it.
This is good. This is what old people talk about.
I'll come back in New York. We can share a hospital room.
You never met my second wife, did you, Ronnie?
No.
She died.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she died. See, this is what old people talk about. Hey, by the way, you know who I've been doing FaceTime with? Well, you wouldn't know what FaceTime is if I explained it to you.
I think I know what it is. I just can't do it.
Yeah. Well, if you could do it, you could talk to Will Durst.
Okay. Last time you talked to me, you said he sounded really good.
Yeah. I see him too. And then
that's great.
The other night, I'm here up around 11:30 at night, and all of a sudden my FaceTime rings, and it's Will.
Wow.
Then he just wanted to see what I was feeling about the election, about the possibilities. It's fascinating that he can do that. And then I called him yesterday, but he was doing some kind of nebulizer or something they had on him, and I said, how often do they do that with you? He says, about 3 tanks a day. I don't know what nebulizing is. But,
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, but our good friend Will Durst had a stroke, folks. We should do a little backstory for those who don't know who we're talking about. And he's a stand-up comic, and all of a sudden he fell to the ground and had a stroke and has been in the hospital for a year. But it's heartening to know that I can, pick up I can go to my computer, click his name on FaceTime, and have it call him.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. To be able to see him in some way. I mean, he's always lying down, I don't know if I've ever had him sitting up, but, it's just, it's heartening to talk to him. And
I just want to hope he gets out of there and perform again.
Yeah. And so these are all the things that older people talk about. How's your hernia? My wife died. How's our friend who had the stroke? What else? Yeah. And then I'm tired all the time, and you're tired all the time.
Yeah, maybe that's just being old. I don't know.
I'm trying to figure out if this is being old, man. I've always had this great fear of death, as I'm sure you have as well.
Oh, it's really.
Yeah.
I feel it very strongly now.
Yeah, and with me, it could happen any day, or it could happen any year, or it could happen any decade. I don't know. You don't know how much time you've got. But if I feel this shitty for the next 10 years, I would rather die,
Yeah.
I'd like to think, everybody says, oh, and God willing, and I want to believe it. The reason I don't believe in God, or if I do believe in God, I would have to hate him.
Yeah, he's a dick.
Okay. He's I'm waiting for lightning to come through here. He is a dick. Look what he does to us when we get old. You would think as you got old. Here's the popular vote on the president: 72,129,000 for Biden, 68,381,000 for Trump. So that's a difference of almost 4 million vote difference. So Biden is ahead by 4 million votes in the popular vote. We were talking about this the last time, which is just shortly after we
said that they said the majority of the people they didn't vote for Biden. They voted against Trump.
Well, yeah, and it's it's true, and but I would say I voted against Trump. I didn't vote pro Biden, although as time has gone on, as I heard Biden speak, and he ran a perfect campaign. You can't fault him for his campaign.
Well, he actually didn't have a campaign, did he?
Well, he did have one. I mean, the speeches he gave and the way he talked to the people, and he's kind of a working man's candidate, and I thought he comported himself very well. And I had a whole slightly different opinion of him and was less reluctant when I voted for him that I was having to hold my nose and vote. All right? I had to hold my nose and vote with Hillary. I'm sorry, Yeah. But with Biden, I think the worst he can do is even things out a little bit, and maybe bring the country together with a certain sense of stability. But who knows? But I don't know if he's president yet, because when we're recording this, we don't know who the president is. But by the time this plays, certainly this one is the second of two that we do at one time. This would be a week later. So there would have to be a resolution of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, Trump loses, in which case he's going to have a hissy fit and try to sue everybody. You look up sore loser in the dictionary, and there's a picture of Donald Trump. Thank you very much, folks. I'll be here all week. But he is a sore loser. There's no question about it.
Well, I think they all are, but he actually shows it. Most people keep it under control.
I think that Biden would say if he loses, I mean, we don't know who won this thing at this point, you and I, that he probably would just say, okay, well, America has spoken. Thank you. I did the best I could to win this thing. And, when you're talking about a 4 million vote difference, and then he still doesn't win, I mean, if that becomes the case, you have to really question this whole thing with the Electoral College. I mean, it's not the will of the people.
But we should do some research and find out why it was set up that way.
Well, they figured they wanted, I think, equal representation or decent representation.
They didn't want the big states to dominate. That's part of it. But,
yeah. Because right now, he's got California, he's got New York, and that could, right there, make up for the 4 million plurality that he's got. But I keep looking at this stuff, and it's too close to call on this one and too close to call on that one. I don't know why we're talking about this, because this is a week later and it's all a moot point. So anyway, how do you think President Biden's going to do? I'm hedging my bets on this interview, folks.
We'll Does he get? Let's see. The last time we did, I think we recorded two things. He's like, "Boy, that was a barn burner. Congratulations, Hillary."
Yeah.
Congratulations, Donald Trump.
Yeah, we probably should do it both ways now. So, so what do you think Biden's going to be a good president?
I think he's going to have a great first term.
Okay. Now, cut to the second possible take. Do you think Trump is going to be the same asshole he was the first time around?
Who'd have thought he got back in?
I mean, it's amazing. It is just amazing, you know. And what doesn't help are all these TV news networks who are just loving every minute of this because it's giving them so much airtime, and probably everybody in the world is watching them. And so they're putting all the drama they can into this. It's interesting that on the night that there was a night that Arizona numbers came in, and MSNBC didn't call it for Biden, even though he was ahead. But guess who called it for Biden? Fox. Then Donald Trump makes a phone call to Rupert Murdoch, who owns Fox, yelling and screaming, "How can you do this?" And basically, Murdoch told him to just blow it out his ass. You know?
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, does Rupert Murdoch need being yelled at by Donald Trump? No. You know. So.
But that was a bad. I guess they're still trying to figure that one out. So.
Well, we're all talking. We're talking blind here, folks, because we shouldn't have done this second interview. I should have called you next week and done it. You know, because we're talking from a perspective where I'm looking at my screen and they're still trying to figure out whether Nevada's going to come through or not. You know?
Yeah. And I was all set to give you. I had a bunch of entertainment trivia that I thought you could have gotten.
Oh, really? Well, quickly, give me a little entertainment trivia. Let's.
Okay. Well, the Grammy Awards started in 1958, and for the first 20 years, they gave they only gave two. They gave a award for best single and best album. And the first 5 years, the best album, 2 of them were won by comics.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I'll give the first year the album was won by Henry Mancini. Music from Peter Gunn.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And then Frank Sinatra won the next album, Come Dance With Me. Then the third year, Bob. Oh, I just said it.
Bob. Huh?
It was won by a comic.
Bob Newhart.
Bob Newhart, Button Down Mine.
Yeah. In fact, he beat out. I saw an interview with him on CBS Sunday Morning. He beat out Frank Sinatra.
Wow.
And he beat out one other big star for Best Album of the Year. Yeah. Yeah.
Then next year, Judy Garland won, and then the fifth year, another comedian.
Okay, I'm going to say Bill Cosby.
Nope.
Okay, Godfrey Cambridge.
It's a good guess, but no, it's an impressionist.
Oh no, not David Fry.
No, his career came to an end on one tragic night.
This guy we're thinking of?
Yes.
His career came to one tragic night. Lenny Bruce? No. Who?
Von Meter.
Oh, well, that, you see, now you're kind of wrong there, because you said a comedian won it. And that really wasn't Von Meter was the star of that album. But the album was produced by an old friend of mine.
First Family, it's called.
Yeah, it was named Earl Dowd. And that was a ensemble thing. That wasn't just Von Meter.
Well, that's who they gave it to anyway.
They gave it to the First Family, to the comedy
album. Just listed as Von Meter, the First Family.
If you had said a comedy album, then I might have said First Family, because I say, I was very close to Earl Dowd, who produced that album, which is maybe still stands. If anybody goes back to listen to it, I played it like 20 years after it came out to see if it still held up, and it held up. You could still listen.
That's weird, because most comedy doesn't hold up after 20 years.
You could listen to that and still laugh at it.
Really?
Yes. It was about Kennedy, ladies and gentlemen. It was about the First Family. and it was a parody on Kennedy, and it was because the bits are just funny. You know, it could be about anybody, but just the pieces are funny. And it was a smash, an absolute smash.
And his career ended after Dallas. Right?
Yes, yep, absolutely. Well, he didn't have, Von Meter didn't have much more to add to the whole thing, you know. Plus, again, that wasn't his comedy, that was Earl's comedy. He and his partner, I can't remember his name right now, who wrote the album. Hey, listen, we run out of time.
Well, that was fun.
God, of course, it's always fun. It passes by really fast with the fabulous Larry Bubbles Brown. Thanks, Larry.
Thanks, Alex.
Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Oh, yeah. Hello, everybody. How are you? Hope you enjoyed Larry. Yeah, you did. A lot of people were watching. They were actually listening. You see, here's the problem with Larry. Okay, well, a lot of problems with Larry, but the big problem with Larry is he is such a Luddite that he doesn't have the computerized equipment I need to show him in video. Okay? He doesn't have an iPhone. He doesn't have a high-speed internet connection. He still has dial-up. You know, the stuff where I went, right? And so he has none of those things, and he, I think, is very proud of the fact and feels that if he ever went out and got any of the newfangled equipment, that it would ruin his character. Anyway, I have offered him, I have a couple of old iPhones over here, one of which is pretty good, you know, and we could just have him get one of those. I just told him, find some service to get onto, and then we can do it with video, because everybody else I do with video now, all the people that I never used to do with video, I now do with video, which is pretty cool, you know. So anyway, it's amazing with him, but I love him dearly, and so we keep him on just in audio only, and you know, just living with that. So we have to. But anyway, we've got, you know, we've got Pearl's video, Kravitz's video, of course, Phil, who is now one of our early interviews, has had equipment for the longest time. So anyway, it's new. Anyway, where do we go from here? You know, I have been, again, just dead tired. Marjorie has had me watching The Queen, the Crown, which is on HBO, not HBO, Netflix. Not as good this year, by the way, as it was in previous years. And every time she puts it on, I start dozing off. Now, I don't know if it's me, because I'm overly tired all the time, and maybe I've got this COVID fatigue, all right? 'Cause I take my temperature every 5 minutes, and I don't have COVID, all right? Come in. I don't have COVID, and you know, I just am tired, and either that or The Crown is so boring that I can't stay awake. So one or the other. And then she watches this show. I have to find it. I have to download it. I won't tell you how. I have to download it for her because once a year, for about, I don't know, 8 weeks or so, every about 3 days a week, a show is on in England called MasterChef: The Professionals, and she absolutely has to watch that. And so I download them and she watches them, and I've been sitting around, you know, watching them, and that puts me to sleep. So, you know, the only thing that kept me awake tonight was I watched The Mandalorian on Disney, and that did me pretty good. So I stayed awake for that. I really enjoyed that. Plus, I got a little cough tonight. There is something, I swear to you, in this house, and I wish I could afford to bring somebody in to find out, but I think it's mold. I absolutely think it's mold because I get like wheezy, and I'm sniffling all day, and my eyes burn, And there's something in this house that's doing this. So I don't get it. But anyway, I think it's time for us to go talk to our citizen panel here. If you don't know how to get on the citizen panel, just go over to gabnet.net, and over on the right-hand side of the page, right-hand side, is everything you need to know. It's got a thing that says click here if you want to join us on Zoom, and that's what people are doing right now, including the, let's see here, 4 people you're going to see in front of you any moment now. There they are. There's Charlie Wallace. He's down in infected Texas.
Yeah.
Number one.
Number one.
Number one infected now, right?
Yep.
And your governor still isn't doing anything about it?
No, bars are still open and everything, you know.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Oh.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that is pure stupidity. And you know, the thing is that people in Texas are so stupid, they don't go, well, we'll stay home anyway, even though he's letting us go to the bars.
Nope.
Yeah, Sweden just went under some strict rules, but they're not rules. They just said, we would prefer you guys not to go to the gym. We would prefer you guys not to do this, not to do that.
Yeah.
Because they're hitting a big spike now.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Well,
I mean,
at least they admitted that herd immunity doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they tried herd immunity. They wanted to see if it would work, and it doesn't work. Okay.
They said
90. What?
90% of the deaths they had there were people over 60, I think, or 70.
Yeah.
Really?
Over 70.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Just killed off all their old people.
Yep.
Thank you.
That's why you need to stay.
Well, there are old people who get it who somehow don't die from it. In fact, they sometimes don't even have a bad case of it. So, you know, it's all luck of the draw. But, you know, I would rather not be old. Not because of COVID. I'd just rather not be old. You know, right, Robert? Robert tended to agree with that statement, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
Seems apparent.
Yeah. And we only have 2 topics lately. COVID, okay, which I feel like I got a cough tonight. And let's see, COVID. And by the way, that's the other thing. You get a cough and you go, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I got COVID.
No, you don't.
No.
No, you don't.
No.
No, you don't. You got to stop that.
Wait a minute. My Alexa is talking to me for some reason. I don't know. Did I say something? Now she's not even talking to me. Okay. Well,
We got our letter today.
what's that?
Oh boy.
This is the letter from all the big hubbub saying that Cepheid is a medical diagnostic company that develops and manufactures tests to detect infectious disease, which COVID-19, flu, blah, 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 blah. Means if we get pulled over, we're okay. We show this and they don't hassle us.
Oh, because you're doing work that is
Essential workers. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
When it first hit, when they were really tight on restrictions, yeah, we had that. And yeah, we're going to work. And geez, I was like the only car on. I'd come home and there's usually traffic everywhere. There's like 5 cars on the freeway. It's so bizarre.
Well, Gavin Newsom has said, your governor, that everybody should not go out and not go to bars except him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay for him to do it. How stupid was he?
Yeah, I liked him actually before, and then when he pulled this stunt, it just put me over the edge of not liking him.
Well,
they have a lot of pictures of him yapping it up and everything, you know.
Well,
so
he
it's
just
like
acted
really bad.
stupid. You know, I mean, if he, to begin with, hi, Steve, good to see you again tonight. When you're a governor, when you're a president, you're an example to other people. Your behavior gets emulated by them. And
he's just saying that. He's just saying that. It's not like it was some guy who should know better. No, this guy just told everybody in the state, don't do anything big. Stay home. I know you want to see your families for Thanksgiving.
Well,
do not do that. And then there he is doing that.
I said this before, and I will say it again, and it makes no sense to me whatsoever. These states that are saying you can't be in a bar after 10 o'clock.
Yeah, that's us.
I thought COVID was 24/7. I may be mistaken on that, But I just, what happens? COVID goes, well, I go to the bars late, so if you close at 10, you're not going to, it's ridiculous. It's nuts.
It's colder then, I guess.
You know what we got to do? We got to just close down the country. I know it's going to hurt, and I know the economy's going to go to the crap, okay? But we got to do it. Because
we'd have done it back in April, we'd have been back to normal by now.
And we'd have our economy back too.
Yeah.
But we didn't do anything about it. We did something about it here in New York, and Cuomo did what he could do. We're back up again a little bit, but not like we were. We're only up around, what it was today? It was 2.5% infected from the test. Do you know how many tests they did in New York State yesterday? Ready for this? Hold on to your seats. Hold on to your seat, Jeffrey, because we did this here in New York. And you can do it in Connecticut. 205,000 tests.
Wow.
Yeah. So when we say 2.5%, there's a pretty good chance that that's a nice cherry picking of the society.
And then stop testing, you'll be down to zero.
Well, of course, we all know that. That's a fact. But did you hear about Cuomo? Did you hear about? You heard about it, right, Jeffrey?
Yeah.
Yeah. He has done something which I've done. He's now in my league. They're giving him an Emmy. He won an Emmy for informing the public or something like that. Some kind of special Emmy award for informing the public. And so he's done an acceptance tape and things like that. And I guess, I don't know, when I guess one of the Emmys. I thought they already were, but.
The Special Asshole Award.
No. Come on. He's not an asshole.
It's not for sports.
Huh?
Oh, it's Cuomo.
Yeah, not for sports.
It's Cuomo. Who do you think I said? Trump?
Here.
Huh?
Hey, Robert said it wasn't for sports like yours, though.
Oh, well, no, but no, I also have a non-sports Emmy, too. I have one for
that's not the one we talk about.
I have one for informational programming.
Yeah,
and definitely not one for informational programming of sports.
No.
Look. I was on a program.
I think we pissed them off.
I was part of a program that was a sports program. It was the Beta Breakers. It's a race they have every year. The Beta Breakers wrap-up show. Okay? And I did a bit in the show. And because I was one of the performers in the show, when it won the Emmy, I got one. And I felt great about that. And then the next year, they put me up for one on Log On TV as an individual. And the next year, I won as well. And I told people, if you vote for me, I promise you, I will never come back. I will never try to get another one of these awards. Just give me one more so I can say two-time Emmy award-winning broadcaster Alex Bennett. Here I am. That didn't seem to impress them at Sirius XM when they were firing me. But,
No.
Who cares? Who cares? No. But anyway, so Cuomo's getting an Emmy. Good for him. He did a lot to continually inform us. Did you ever watch any of his stuff, Robert?
Sure.
Pretty good stuff, right?
Way back in March and April, it was the thing to do each and every day.
Yeah. And we still do it. I mean, we do it. He does teleconferencing. He does some video things. We do it. We watch it on YouTube. It was soothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like he was trying to tell us good stuff. He was telling us how bad it really was, but he was also telling us what we could do and what they were doing and so on. And literally, he talked us down off a cliff, is what he did. And huh?
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I started watching him religiously after the Ahmaud Arbery case. Right when that went down, I wanted to hear what was going on. I watched him. and he had like the pickup driver, the behind him that was filming. He had him on with the lawyer, and it's really riveting. So I just started watching from then on, really religiously.
Yeah, no, he's great. And the other day when I had Phil on, he went, "Well, I hear that he yelled at a member of the press or something." And I went, "No, it's just a member of the press asked him a snarky question, and he said, 'I don't like that tone,'" And he said, "Well, Trump does that." I said, "No, Trump's a bully." Mm-hmm. And Cuomo's just from New York and just doesn't put up with crap, And I love Cuomo's attitude. It's the reason I love New Yorkers, It's take no prisoners, And by the way, he was born and lived about 2 blocks or 3 blocks away from where Trump grew up in Queens. So it can show you 2 people can come out of the same neighborhood and not all of them have to be good, Speaking of somebody from Queens, here comes Tony. And the hideous wallpaper. Yeah. Oh, look at that hideous wallpaper. Well, you can't see it. Duck for a second, Tony. See that? Isn't that the most hideous wallpaper and curtains you've ever seen?
And she's on the couch, my mother.
She's on the couch tonight? Can she
hear?
Can she hear us?
She can't hear that good, Alex. I'm trying to get her.
Okay. Okay, so we can say stuff about her and she won't...
Yeah, just don't curse too much.
Are you sure Mom's still alive, or you just don't have her stuff down in the basement?
No, she is alive, I'm telling you.
Really?
All 5 2 of them.
Okay. Hello there, Kevin.
How are you?
Yeah, he waves. That's good for radio. For all you people watching with audio, forget it. He's not doing his act for you.
I said, how are you?
I'm fine. And how are you?
Good.
Yeah, everything, in California, coming very close to closing everything down.
Tomorrow night, the curfew goes away at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, but I said this before you came on.
Corona goes away.
Yeah. That makes no sense to me at all. You just close the bars. Why is it we have such a, to begin with, would you all agree with me that at its very basis, alcoholism is a bad idea, right? Yeah. Booze is not that terrific. All right.
Well, what's even funnier is In-N-Out Burger stays open.
Oh, really?
I never had that.
Yeah.
Well, you never did because it's on the West Coast.
Burgers are essential.
It's the West Coast, yeah.
Yeah, well, anyway, here's the thing. Why is it they make such a big deal about the bars want to stay open? Oh, what are we going to do if we close down the bars? It's going to be terrible. Yes, maybe some people will stop being alcoholics. Big deal. Bars? Okay.
We used to go out at 10 o'clock, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
well, the reason,
the
reason why our governor closes down at 10 o'clock here now for bars and restaurants. The reason is because they made that the time in New Jersey. And his feeling was if we stayed open, what would happen is all those people from New Jersey who wanted to get drunk, all those alcoholics from New Jersey, would just come over and say, hey, well, we'll go to New York now and get drunk, right?
Too close.
Yeah, and he didn't want that influx of people, so we close at 10 too. I think if everybody in this country, we just got to stop it. I'm sorry, folks, you can't drink and fight COVID. It doesn't, the alcohol does not kill the COVID. All right?
Certainly trying.
Huh? Hell yeah, it's trying. All right. I don't get it. I just don't get the thinking that's going on here. What was the other thing that they were afraid of closing down? Well, of course, gyms were something that you were having a problem with, Brian. Brian's over here, right there. Yeah. That's Brian. I don't know that how I feel about gyms. I do think that people need their exercise, but wear a mask and go for a walk. Okay, that'd be the best thing. Not be stuck indoors with a bunch of people huffing and puffing as they're riding their cycles and treadmills and things like that. It's just a matter that if for a month we all hunkered down, and we hate to do this, and it's the worst time of the year to do it. We got Christmas and we got Thanksgiving. It's the worst time of the year to do it, but if we just did it, we'd save, tens of thousands of lives. And how bad's it getting in Connecticut? Steve's got his hand up. Yes, Steve.
Yeah, Toronto just went into lockdown as of Monday, this coming day.
Really?
At midnight, Sunday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when they say lockdown, do they mean everything locked down?
Everything except schools.
Except schools.
Restaurants are only takeout.
Mm-hmm.
Curbside for when you're shopping. It's at a store.
Mm-hmm.
Groceries are still open, but yeah, it's getting bad.
Yeah, but we have to do it. If we don't do this, more people are going to die. We've got to do it. And I know it's terrible, people. And look, I hate wearing a mask, and I don't like the fact that I can't have the kids over for Christmas. Oh, wait a minute, I don't have any kids. Anyway, that's a problem.
All of us were coming over.
Well, does anybody know where I can rent some kids so that I can then miss them? Oh, you got one.
One 14-year-old boy.
I got a 15-year-old girl.
The boy.
We'll stick them both on a plane.
Yeah, but we've just got to bite the bullet on this one. I'm sorry. Lives are depending on it. Your life
Can
is
you get
depending.
toilet paper up in Toronto?
Hey, listen, I can't get toilet paper now.
No, I'm talking about up in Canada.
Up in Canada, how's toilet paper, Steve?
As far as I know, it's still okay, but they're making jokes on the internet about it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
a meme.
My wife bought some. Go ahead.
I saw a meme of Sylvester Stallone from the first Ramble movie on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
With toilet paper thing on his lap while he's riding the bike.
And the cops are chasing him. Yeah.
The thing is that Marjorie, last time I ordered from Costco, said get 2 big things of Kirkland toilet paper. So I said 2? She says, we don't want to run out. I've always had a feeling about toilet paper. You always will run out of toilet paper. There's no question about that.
You don't want to get wiped out.
Oh,
Jeffrey!
See what you did there,
Jeffrey. You get a point here today. You get 500 GabNet bucks. How's that for that one? No
dinner.
Yeah. So today she says, order more toilet paper. I said, okay. She said, and we need Bounty paper towels too. So we ordered them from Instacart going over to Costco. They're all out of them.
I was gonna say, Austin, they're out of them.
Yeah.
So my wife was ordering for the office, right?
Mm-hmm.
She orders all her stuff, and there's been issues around here. Costco doesn't have any because I went to Costco and I thought, pick some up. They were wiped out, and I got my other shit anyway. But she was ordering for her stuff, and she ended up ordering at Staples, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she orders toilet paper and paper towels for her office at Staples.
Yeah.
Plenty of it in stock. They got it. She orders it, and the order comes the next day, and the only thing missing on the order is the toilet paper and the paper towel.
That's right.
No.
Oh.
So she calls, and she says, we're missing our toilet paper and our paper towels. And the freight company said, oh, it was refused by you because it was damaged. She says, no, we never ever got it. And so what happened, or what apparently happens now, is the freight company returns it as damaged and says it was refused by the customer, and they assume, they're just going to tell us to keep it, and whoever the driver was or whatever takes it home.
Bingo.
Nice. And she ends up getting a credit and reordering it and gets it again today.
Will you guys tell me something? I don't get the toilet paper thing.
I don't either.
Why is it? I mean, you would think bottled water you might run out of bottled water or some foodstuffs or whatever.
What is it with the toilet paper?
Plus, can't we just use all the ballots that Giuliani found in a ditch?
I've got mine right here.
Oh, God.
I still got mine. I can just mark it with Trump and use it for toilet paper.
There you go.
I'm having. Oh, and I'll show you something that they also didn't have. They haven't had for 2 weeks at Costco. And this is this. I have no idea. Maybe they just stopped. Well, they didn't stop carrying it because I then went on to the Costco site and ordered it by delivery, which will get here in a week. Is this stuff, which we think kind of helps with allergies. It's just like what do you call it? Flonase. Flonase. Right. It's the same thing as Flonase. It's but we ordered this, and I use this because I think it will help me from feeling like I have to cough. You know, I'm bullshitting myself. Anyway. I don't understand any of this. I don't understand why the toilet paper thing. It just doesn't make sense. You're just really afraid bizarre. You won't, listen, if worse comes to worse, I'm sure you got some old newspapers around the house. I'm sure you got some washable rags you can use. Do you have enough toilet paper in your house, Tony?
Oh, my mother made me I went to Stop and Shop before because she's worried about the shutdown. So I got actually 2 big things of toilet paper and paper towels.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
You know what she did the other day?
What?
She was on the walker and the toilet paper got caught to her hip, and all you saw was a roll going into the back. So I just kind of I says, Mom, this is why we got to get the roll. It's like, come on, already.
Yeah.
She's laughing. She wasted half of it.
Yeah. By the way, Josh, how are things in your neck of the woods?
Well, they're not too bad, I guess. I mean, the situation's getting worse, but we're here.
You're in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I always, for some reason, I always forgot where you were. But last time I made a mental note of it, I said, Ohio, state that Trump lost in. Okay, good. He did lose there, didn't he?
No, he won.
No, he won.
Oh, he won Ohio? Oh, then fuck Ohio. By the way, did you see the guy who's the Secretary of State of Georgia who said, okay, Trump lost, Biden won? Trump immediately starts assailing him as being a left-wing wacko, blah, 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 not realizing that many months earlier he endorsed him for Secretary of State.
Yeah.
And the reason why was he was like a #1 Trump supporter.
Yep.
So this guy says he lost in Georgia. Who better to say that than a Trump loyalist who wasn't going to wasn't going to drink the Kool-Aid? Eventually I would get the term down. Drink the Kool-Aid. And this guy has had his life threatened.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what's going to take to get him over to our side. He's probably there already now.
No, he's very conservative.
Yeah.
Haley was worse today, right? Haley was saying that there was not a smooth transition in 2016 when Trump was, elected.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kaylee said that, and then CNN did a nice montage of, of even Trump thanking them on whatever one of those days, thanking them for a smooth transition. Trump said that, and they showed Pence and Biden and everything, all the transition people.
I saw an interview with if you get a chance, try and go to YouTube. It's there. You can look at the interview that Jimmy Kimmel did with Obama, and he's very funny. Obama is funny. He just has a great sense of humor, and when he's asked to do comedy, like at the Correspondents' Dinner and a couple of things like that, like he did that thing with the guy from Key and Peele and Key or whatever. And
anger management.
And there he was supposed to be the straight man, and he was perfect. He was pitch perfect. But anyway, he was talking about it, and he said, "Look, when I took over from Bush invited me to." He said we disagreed with each other politically on just about everything. He said, "But when I won, he invited me to the White House, took me to the Oval Office, told me a lot of the secrets, a lot of the stuff I needed to know before assuming power. Couldn't have been more generous and accommodating." He said, and that's the way it's always been, I'm sure Carter didn't want to do it for Reagan, but he did it for Reagan. This is the way you do it. You know, okay, I lost. You know, well, but what is Trump not admitting to? I mean, can't he believe that actually about 5 million to 6 million people more didn't like him? Okay. I mean, isn't he satisfied with the fact that he got the second largest amount of votes in a presidential election in history? He should be happy with that. Doesn't mean he's going to be living there anymore, but he should be happy with that. But, I mean, come on already. We've got this guy Biden who's got to go into the White House, and when he is in the White House, he wants to hit the floor running. And nobody's more capable of that because he knows what that office entails. He knows where the bathroom is already, you know, and he hasn't been invited over. Unless they, of course, moved it somewhere else. But then he has to know those things.
No paper.
No paper. So, I mean, it's horrible what he has done. And now a lot of Republican senators are starting to come over to the side of, hey, admit you lost. Let him in the front door, tell him the stuff he needs to know, let the transition team get the information they have to have at their disposal. The GAO, that woman, I think they're suing her and maybe even charging her with some political crime or something because she isn't helping them. It's just, dude, just be decent.
So tell me, Josh, you'd probably know this. Why I was watching C-SPAN a few minutes ago. It was the Tuesday. It was the Tuesday thing with Giuliani, and they're presenting all the stuff on the court hearing. Why are they calling it Donald Trump Incorporated versus whoever?
Well, that must be some sort of name
for the contestant. They're contesting the.
Okay, yeah, it's on my screen right now because I have C-SPAN on and I listen.
I was starting to watch it, and then my mom called, so I couldn't watch the whole thing.
It's Donald J. Trump for President Incorporated, so that must be they must have incorporated his campaign, basically.
Okay. I was curious about that. I thought, what the hell does it say incorporated?
He has sent out. Do you know that Trump has sent out 300 different emails to his supporters over the last how many days since the election, asking for money. And on it says 75% of this money may go to the Donald Trump PAC fund or whatever.
Oh, it's gone from 60 to 75% now?
Yeah, 75% now.
It was 60.
I know. I bet somebody today was saying it says 75 now.
And
what he's doing is he's just trying to raise money to stick in his pocket. What were you going to say, Josh?
I mean, look, the good news is that, you know, the media has moved on from him. We've all moved on from him. Slowly but surely, more and more people every day across the country, even the ones that voted for him, move on from him. So you're just going to have to put up with this fucking clown show for a couple more weeks until it's gone. And I mean, look, it's time for them to just get it. I mean, look, man, you led the game all the way into the fourth quarter, and then you fucking got beat. I mean, you got beat. You got fucking handled in the fourth quarter, and you lost the fucking game by 2 scores. And now it was the rules, and it was the referees, and it was this guy got hurt, and there was holding on that play they didn't call, and it was bullshit. And this is what people do when they get beat. Except in professional sports, we don't accept it. We call it for what it is, which is a bunch of wine-ass, candy-ass, chicken shit motherfuckers who can't just say we got beat.
Yeah.
Game over, go home.
Give it up. Yeah. It's time to move on with it. I mean, in sports, like it's just like in politics, it's just like in life. Sometimes you get beat. Just say it and then fix it. So just come out and say you got beat, and
no, but you see,
I'm going to run for president again. I'll see you in 4 years, and I'm going to keep working for my people. And if that's what he wants to do,
but he honestly believes, I think, that he was robbed, that it was a rigged election.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't have a difficulty believing that he is so delusional that he would believe that. I mean, I can see what you're saying. I mean, yeah,
Well, do you realize that while we were sitting around worrying the Russians were going to rig this election, the biggest enemy to this election was Trump?
It's in the White House.
He was rigging it.
I mean, I heard it, more of it today. I mean, there was, Tucker Carlson, for instance, was even calling some things out because they had made all these accusations about electronic.
Well, there was supposedly some woman at the Giuliani thing,
right?
That got up there, and he assailed her for just being.
So I mean, that's what I'm saying is, they were alleging all these electronic voting machines that were hacked, and that they took all these Trump votes and moved them to Biden. So I'm just saying, what you see. So you don't like the electronic voting machines because you say they got hacked. You don't like the paper ballots because you say people will look at it, and even though it says Trump, it's Biden, or they'll throw it away. You don't like electronic. You don't like paper. I mean, should we have all just raised our hands or something? I mean, what the fuck? That's what I'm saying. You're not happy with any of it. You got fucking beat.
Well, he doesn't want to admit
that's
that.
That.
He never.
Done. Game clock's over.
He always wins, according to him.
Right. What's going to happen here is,
this is a bull.
Same exact thing that's going to happen if you lost in week 9 of the NFL. You're going to play a game in week 10, and your fucking record is going to be whatever it was when the game ended in week 9.
Well, no, but the thing is,
going to get inaugurated on January 20th, and that's it.
This is this is all bullshit that they've been putting out with, and the fact is that, for instance, the biggest story today on the news was and yesterday as well was Giuliani's hair.
Oh yeah,
dye.
Yes,
and I asked this last night if anybody here had ever dyed their hair. I think Charlie said he had dyed his hair.
Did it for years.
Did it ever drip?
Nope.
You know why? You know why? Because you used hair dye. What he was using probably was that spray-on stuff.
Ah.
And he's sitting there, and it's coming down like this. It almost looked like, as I said last night, a hipster sideburn. Those little thin things that guys do,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before I listened to some of the replay here on C-SPAN from Tuesday, their argument in Pennsylvania, and then I didn't catch a lot of it. I muted it when your show came on.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard some, and I heard a lot of Giuliani talking, and I laugh because he's in this courtroom and he's in front of this panel of judges, and he talks just like he does when he's on, Fox News or one of his press conferences at the landscaping barn or whatever. That's exactly how he was talking. He doesn't sound like a lawyer at all. And the other lawyers talk, and they sound like they're in a courtroom.
They sound like lawyers.
It's just comical. There's no cameras in the courtroom, so it's just audio with like the picture of the person on the screen who's talking. But I can just see him in there with his 10 rings on his fingers and his hands flailing, and it's a fucking clown show.
Well, we have yet another member of the Trump White House who has come down with COVID.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Don Jr. has been infected.
Giuliani's quarantined.
Giuliani's son got it too.
Why is he quarantined? For the hair dye?
Well, that too, yeah. Don't let him out. He probably come on bald next press conference.
Probably sucking Don Jr.'s dick. So
exactly, that's why.
It's gotta be.
My favorite part of the press conferences is when Trump leaves abruptly, right, with no questions. And did you hear what they were yelling at him? The questions? Are you a sore loser? Are you a sore loser? She yelled it like 3 or 4 times as he was exiting. It's so funny.
Yeah, they're getting bold now, so because they can get kicked out, they don't care.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we should have live watched this fucking oral arguments like we did that Trump rally last Saturday.
Saturday night, sometimes Kevin and I and Patrick and all get together and just sit there and talk about stuff. And all of a sudden, Josh is looking up at the screen, and they're running the Million MAGA March or whatever that is. And we started watching it, and I think we had a lot of fun for about a straight hour, just kind of narrating it.
They had a lot of people.
You know. And
yeah, because they just kept having all these speakers. I mean, none of them I'd ever heard of. They were like getting people out of the
Well, did you ever hear of who was it? Reagan Babe, I think was her.
Yeah, something like
was her
that.
name. If you go online, you look up Reagan Babe, you'll see this woman. And unfortunately, she's a hot Nazi. You know, I mean, she.
I mean, Reagan was president, like 3 decades ago, and has been dead for.
I mean, I hate to listen to somebody who I absolutely disagree with and get an erection. You know, it's just you feel so guilty about an erection that really is, we're guys. It's just doesn't matter their politics.
It was a Trump show. I mean, they had the housekeeper from Mar-a-Lago, whatever, their token Latina, and
yeah. I like
Well
Latinos,
done.
says Trump. I hire a lot of them, so,
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, she probably was on overtime or whatever, so she was up to like $9 an hour or whatever.
I'll tell you, anything
Time and a half.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Or he's probably got a loophole for that. She probably works for tips or something.
Yeah.
So.
It's a write-off.
I look at this. I got this. I'm looking at the Drudge Report, and he is so anti-Trump now. It's amazing. I mean, this is a guy that he was just lauding for the longest time, and now he just hates him any way that he can. And there's a picture of Rudy Giuliani, and it says, Giuliani no longer America's mayor.
I think that ship sailed, like I don't know.
And he had a picture of the stuff dripping down the side of his face last night, and above it was the caption, Giuliani.
Yeah, well.
So.
I mean, maybe people wake up. I mean, they're not helping themselves, if you ask me, but they don't ask me. I mean, they're just, they want to continue down this path. That's fine. I mean, like I told you, I think that I'm fine with it because he's saving Biden a lot of trouble in a way. Fire as many as your fucking lackeys as you want to just save us the time to wipe the slate clean. Get everybody that you got into government out of government. That's fine. Do us a favor. We'll be more than happy to find replacements for all these, these sycophants and retards that you put in there. That's fine.
Let me ask you this: how many people are there in the world at the present time? Do you know?
Billion.
Billion?
About 7.8 billion.
Oh, 7.8 billion. Oh, okay. Because I was looking at that map that they have of Johns Hopkins map. There are 57,514,482 cases so far.
Yeah.
With almost 12 million of those in the United States.
Well, I was going to say, so just like quick math in my head would say that our rate of infection would have to be much higher than everybody else, though. I mean,
I would 1 million a week.
Are we doing 1 million a week now?
Yep, last 3 weeks, 1 million a week.
We're up to 11. Well, we're up to 12 million in the United States, and in the death area, we have 254,383.
I'll give you a small number, illustrative thing. I hope in my town is it's 4 little towns all put together as one township, and it's about 24,000 people. And so since March, we would read, the township would put out a email newsletter, and each and every day they would say 1 new case, 2 new cases, 3 new cases. When we heard 3 new cases, we would whistle, like, wow. Today, 33 cases in one day.
And that's a little town in New Jersey.
24,000 people.
And
so now I'm not saying that 33 people should be earth-shattering. I'm just saying that by comparison to what we became accustomed to, it's exponential.
Yes, no question about it. Today our governor gave one of his his telephone conference. And he said, we can sit here and say, hey, things are terrible because these numbers are going up. We're up to 2.5%, whatever, or that there were 31 deaths yesterday. But he said, compare that to any other state in the United States, and we're pathetically low,
Yeah, we would love to have New York's rate.
Yeah. But still, I would love to have New York's rate the way it was, where we were at like 0.6%, and where we were at one day, we actually had no deaths in the state of New York, if you can imagine that. But if you think about 31 deaths yesterday in the state of New York, and then you parse that out over 300 hospitals in the state, that's not a lot. That's it's about 1 in every 10 hospitals. So that's a pretty good figure.
I think the under-discussed story is how many people are reporting serious after effects after having mild cases they report of the disease. And yet later they're talking about cognitive difficulties, breathing difficulties, mobility difficulties, things that seem totally unrelated to a respiratory ailment.
I think I may have had a mild case of it because I got some of the things you just said,
That's why I don't get when these people say the recovery rates, the percentage is so high. I'm like, well, everybody wants to get it then? I mean, that's not the point. Why would you want to break your immune system down and like you're talking about? We don't know what the after effects are of this,
right?
Yeah, well, I almost was wondering if I did have a minor case of it, and that what I'm feeling all along are just these after effects and so on, because I'm tired and all that stuff, and I can't attribute it to anything. I went to my doctor and got my yearly checkup. My blood test came out fine. I didn't have anything to worry about in my blood test. Even my PSA was 0. So I mean, it was so I can't figure out any of it, and who knows?
I think it's
what
problems.
What were you going to say, Jeff?
It's emotional.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I mean, I'm indoors most of the time. I do go out. I went up to the drugstore today. Okay. But that isn't exactly getting out. To me, getting out is when I used to go downtown and go to buy ravioli at Italy, and I would do something else, and I would go look at Best Buy, hang out at the Apple store, things like that. I can't do that anymore. It's impossible. I mean, I can go to the Apple store, but, I would get, the trouble is at the Apple store, you can get COVID. So it's that's a joke, folks.
$2.99 a month.
$2.99 a month.
$1,000 worth.
Yeah,
$29.99 a year.
So, so how are you guys handling Thanksgiving? Of course. Oh yes, Charlie, you have your hand up. Well,
I just wanted to mention that people are also silly when they talk about how, fewer and fewer people are dying from it. Yeah, but they're ignoring the fact that more and more people are going bankrupt from it. Because even if you survive, the chances are if you go in the hospital, you're going to end up bankrupt. Even if you have insurance.
A lot of people don't have insurance, especially younger people don't have insurance. And we know younger people can get it. And while they maybe don't get it as badly, their hospitalization will still cost them money.
And just spend 5 days in the hospital is enough to make you broke if you don't have any bucks in the bank. But my question is, what are you going to do about Thanksgiving? Have you figured out a way around it? Huh?
This is what I'm going to do.
Well,
I'm going to be on the computer talking to people.
I wish I could send you some turkey, you know.
I'm going to South Dakota. The governor invited everybody up there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Good.
He said, come on up. Enjoy turkey.
I don't have a motorcycle.
Yeah.
She said, just go. The hospitals are full, but we can just go.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, for instance, Josh, what are you going to do? What do you have kids, Josh? I've never asked you this.
No, we do not.
You do not. Well, you're like me. You made a choice, right?
Yes.
Yes. And just ask Brian about having kids. And he
I only had 5 years ago.
Yeah. So the question is, what are you going to do, Josh, for Thanksgiving? Do you have people you usually spend it with, or?
No, we normally don't go much of anywhere.
Yeah.
She will have me. We will stop at my wife's dad's and stepmom's usually. I don't do much with my family, especially those kind of get-togethers, because I don't really care to.
How about this year? How about this year? You're not going to, right?
They wanted her to stop by, and I really don't understand why, because her stepmother has lots of health issues, including COPD. I mean, she takes oxygen, for goodness sake. And I'm like, we can't go up there. I told you guys Saturday about my work,
Yeah.
And it's only intensifying. So I'm like, we can't go up there. So she settled for they're going to run by here and come in the house and talk to her for a couple minutes, and I won't go near them or whatever. So really nothing. I have some time off, so
yeah,
I'll probably sit here and take my pain medication.
And of course, Brian, what are you guys going to do? You're just the kids and the wife.
But like a month ago, we had planned this next week to go down to LA to her family, and then my stepfather's wife, who's still alive, she's in Palm Springs, so we're going to take off down there for a day also. But now with this, we stopped everything. We're just going to stay home.
Yeah. But good idea,
Oh yeah.
Good idea for everybody.
Yeah, her grandparents are still alive, and those are the people we really want to see, because they're not doing that good this year. So we want to see them, but there's no way we're going to go down.
Robert, how about you guys?
My wife and I.
That's it. Do you usually spend it with other people?
That sort of changed a few years back when her mom passed. My parents are long gone. Her mom passed away some time ago, and that changed the nature of who got together. So we've been she and I most of the time for some years now.
Yeah.
And so for us, it's not a big.
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
How about you, Steve? You're not going to do anything, or are you going to be out on the road with the truck?
Our Thanksgiving was in October.
Oh, yes, of course.
Right.
I am
spikes.
Stupid me. I always say that to my friends in Canada. So what are you doing for Thanksgiving? And they go, well, we already did it.
I was on the road for it. I wasn't home.
Yeah.
We didn't actually do Thanksgiving this year.
Is it the same Thanksgiving, or do you do different things? I mean...
we have the turkey dinner like you guys do.
Yeah. But you didn't have pilgrims there, did you?
Actually, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a good answer. There is no answer.
Well, wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. I mean, I'm going to ask you a history about Canada, because I don't know the answers to these things, because I'm basically a stupid person, okay? Canada, before the Pilgrims came over to the United States, was there anybody besides Indians living in Canada?
No, Canada was discovered after Columbus. Jacques Cartier, I believe, was the guy who discovered Canada.
Here's what I never got about that whole thing about in school. They would say like, "Who discovered America?" And I used to write down, "You can't discover a place that's already there." You know, and there are people living there. It's insulting to the people who were living there that you say you discovered it. All right.
Yeah.
And I used to get failed for that answer. F, you know. But I mean, I've often said that. How do you? Let's say you have an American, a Native American, they get called now, a woo-woo Indian as opposed to a dot head Indian.
We're not monetized now for sure.
That was something Albert used to say all the time. It used to make me laugh really hard.
Or Mumbai.
Yeah, Dothead or Mumbai or Woo or Mumbai. That's another way of putting it. But anyway.
Good Lord.
And you have a kid like that's in the class, and all of a sudden they're saying, who discovered America? It was Columbus. You can't discover a place where people already live. In fact, they discovered it. When are we going to have a holiday for the Native American who came over the Bering Straits and said, hey, look what we found?
Yeah. And how many Emmys does your teacher have? Come on.
How many MBs?
Emmys.
Oh, Emmys, none.
Zero.
See? So that's what I do. You know? Anyway, so I just, you know, I just always, it always bothered me when we used to say, Columbus discovered America. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. And now sometimes I ask that question to people, say, who really discovered America? And they'll go, oh, Leif Erikson. They think they're being smart, right? Who was the first person to come here. But, you know, we forget that all that history is white history.
Yep.
And the question should really be, who was the first white man to discover America? And then in that case, you could say that, you know.
But Thanksgiving's bad too, right?
Huh?
I mean, the real history about Thanksgiving's bad too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's America's just...
We made friends with the Indians, invited them over to dinner.
We killed
them all.
Yeah, then we killed them all.
We'll give them any dessert.
That's why when if you're American and you go travel, you start really learning history. You know, when I've been Europe a couple times, you know, Italy and stuff, and that's when you hear real history. Then you come back here and they say, "Ooh, it's 100-year anniversary! Ooh, big deal!" It's like that's no history.
What I've often said of the trouble is main trouble with Americans is that we live in a country that is not really bordered by any other country. Oh yeah, we got Mexico on one side and Canada on the other, but that's it. Well, if you live in Europe and you're in a place like Germany, you got, you know, France down there and Sweden up there and blah, 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 and you can get in a car and in a short time drive to another country. And so you have more of a world vision. Americans have no world vision. Most Americans never leave this country. Most Americans never leave further than 50 miles from their home. Yeah. So consequently, they don't have a world vision. You know, I've been to China, so I know the realities of China. I know what it's like to be in China, what it's like to walk on the streets of China. But the average American out there in Boise, Idaho, has no idea what it's like. And so they don't have a world vision. And that's the one thing Americans lack. That
you guys learn world history in your schools?
Yeah, we learn world history, but it's from an American standpoint to begin with, you know. Also, we never had a bomb dropped on our country. Yeah, we had 9/11, but that's not a bomb dropping on our country. I mean, it's not like you had war ravaging your country. You know, many years back, I was driving through France with my girlfriend at the time. And I said, do you know that if we had just been driving here 30 years earlier, I would have been arrested as a Jew and you would have been hauled off to some place because you were with the Jew. Just where we're driving now, where it's peaceful, and hey, look, there's a McDonald's. Let's stop and eat. This is how much the world changes. But when you go through that, and you go through that kind of thing, it changes you as a country. That's why they have, British health over there. They have their health plan in England. They gave it to themselves as a present for World War II. It's, we don't have that here. We have no sense of that kind of vulnerability at all.
Yep.
So, how about you?
I kind of feel that way driving through Mississippi and Alabama.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Funny that I was driving. I had lived in Houston in the 19. When was it? When was I there? I was there in. God, I'm trying to remember now. I was there in 1965, I think it was. Yeah, it must have been 65. And 1963 to like 66 or something like that. And so you know what it was like back then. It was very racist. In fact, Jack Bishop lived down there at the same time I was living down there, and I used to go over to his part of town to see him. He used to come see me in my part of town, and we were very brazen about this because we were both from California. We didn't know from this sort of thing about, that's the black neighborhood, and this is where that's where the coloreds live, and this is where the white people live. And he would come to visit me, and people would go crazy. I let people into my house, and a black guy into my house in the neighborhood. And then we would walk down the street. This would drive them crazy in Texas. We'd walk down the street with my wife, Ronnie, in the middle, and then us on either side of her, and let them try and figure out who she was with. Drove them nuts. Got all these stares. But anyway, a few years later, I'm down in Florida, and my girlfriend and I are driving up from Florida when I left there, because that's the most terrible place on the planet. And we were going through the South, and we stopped off at this little restaurant, this little diner, and there was a black waitress behind the table, and she's talking with the white guys, and they're discussing what's happening, how's your kid doing in school, and blah, 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 blah. And I go, how fast these people, accommodated integration. I mean, we thought of them as the most racist people in the world, and yet in the short period of time between 1965 and when did I do this about going up, this was like 1999, something like that. In that short period of time, it had changed. So all these things change, but all I'm saying is we get back to Europe, they lived through some bad stuff. And so they have a feeling what it's like to hang in there together, and get rid of the infidel. What are you guys doing, Tony? You going to just buy a turkey and stare at the wallpaper?
Actually, well, my brother's coming over with his girlfriend, and it's just going to be me, him, and my mom, and my sister's coming over for a cake later.
Okay. Are you going to take their temperature when they come in the door?
Well, she's all right because she works in the medical field, so she.
Oh well, sure. There's no way she can get it.
Yeah. So we know she's safe.
There's no way she can get it, Tony.
I can have the night off because she can take care of my mom when I watch the football game.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right.
But we don't have it. Other than that, we're going to Zoom my aunt in Long Island. So
Kevin, I didn't ask you what you guys are doing.
Who's that, me?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we're hanging out here. I think my mother-in-law's coming down, and that's it. We usually do a big thing with the family. I usually do a turkey for everybody, and they all come down, but not this year.
Well, I have my little temperature gun.
Oh, I got that too, Alex. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody's coming into my place. There are three of them. There's Shecky, there's Natalia, who's Jack's wife, and Teresa, who's Marjorie's friend. And I'm going to take their temperature. And I know that Shecky hasn't been anywhere, and I know that Natalia has only been to the store to shop, and Teresa's going to actually get a test.
Oh, really?
Before she comes over. She already took it, I think, and she'll get the results like on Monday or Tuesday. So But who knows? She could catch it the next day. I mean, I never could figure out why the test is so important. And then so they're gonna come over, and I got the gun. I'm gonna take the temperature, and then we're not gonna just stay far apart. We're gonna keep our distance a little bit. Be safe. Yes, Jeff.
So are you going to wear masks?
No.
No. And how about, are you going to open the windows?
If it's not too cold, yeah, sure. I don't think it's. I mean, I think that we're to begin with, we're only doing 3 people, okay, and plus Marjorie and I. What they're warning against is, people are coming in from another state for Thanksgiving and coming from even around your area for Thanksgiving. If you have too many of them, the more that you have, the more exponentially dangerous it becomes. So, but it's bad. It's bad out there, as I say. I wasn't going to take the chance of going to a hospital to have the eyes done. I consider that minor surgery, not major surgery. It's not like they're removing a cancer or something like that I got to do now. So I'm waiting till after the first of the year and see how this plays itself out, because I think we're going to start seeing the vaccine being used by then. But I saw today, did you see, Brian, any of the news about how they're shipping this stuff? Not the Moderna stuff, because that they can.
Yeah, I know the Pfizer stuff has to be frozen still. Yeah.
95 degrees below zero.
Yeah. So you have to make sure everywhere that's doing this has that in their facility, and what happens if it doesn't? What happens if something happens and they do transport some of that? People will get it, and if it's not effective,
they have ways to ship it, and they got temperature gauges on some of these boxes and things like that.
They have the boxes. Each of the boxes has a temperature gauge. It's packed in dry ice, and then that package is packed in dry ice, and then they have this device that they said is a temperature gauge and GPS.
Yeah, we used to use those. For some of our chemicals, we have to ship those things like that.
Yeah, but
they're temperature-controlled shipments.
On the other hand, the Moderna just needs to be refrigerated. That's all.
UPS is great about losing shit.
Huh?
2 times within 21 days, right?
Is it 2 times within 21 days?
I think so. Yeah.
Really? Yeah, is that for the Pfizer thing?
Pfizer.
Well, there's one that I think it's the. It's not the Moderna. It's yet another one. I'm trying to remember.
That lab something.
No, it's a big major company we all know. I'm trying to remember.
Really?
Yeah, huh?
Well, there's Moderna, there's Pfizer, there's
Johnson & Johnson. Supposedly theirs, you only have to have one. That would be preferable. One that can survive at room temperature, just mild refrigeration. Then you got yourself a good deal. If people have to go back for a second one, already they went through one shot, and while I don't mind getting a shot, some people are just they're cowards. What time is it? I can't even tell.
57.
57.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost 58, which means that I can then do this. There we go. A little theme song. Hey, this has been a lot of fun tonight. And I haven't gotten tired, and I'm having a good time, and I think I wasn't fuzzy brained today.
Take a couple walks this weekend.
Yeah, I should do that.
Up on the bicycle, 5 or 10 minutes at least, just like Charlie's doing. It's good.
Yes. Yes, Steve, you have your hand up.
Yeah. Do you think Florida is really miserable because it looks like a flaccid penis on a map?
There's also, if you notice, that highway going down makes it look like a vein. And then when you look at the Florida Keys, it looks like it's coming, So,
luckily, Adrian's sleeping right now.
Thank God.
She is sleeping, yeah. Don't need to explain those things to her yet.
She's kind of the baby Yoda of our show. That's Charlie. Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate it. Brian, thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you, Tony. We'll see you all again next week. We're only doing 2 shows next week because Thursday and Friday we're taking off here at GabNet. Everybody give a big wave goodbye, and I will give you a big wave goodbye back. Okay? What does that say? The Lincoln Project. Yeah. Okay. Goodbye, everybody. There they go. There's our citizen panel for tonight. There'll be another one getting together next. If he doesn't have any problems getting on like he did last night with Jack Bishop and The Intersection, and they'll be using Skype, and the Skype name you use to get a hold of them is GabNet Live. Okay? I'll see you again tomorrow, Tuesday, at 10:30 Eastern Daylight Time, same station in life. And in the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her. And by the way, be safe out there. And of course, as always, do everybody a favor, you, me, and your kids and your family, and wear a damn mask. Good night, everybody.